Hi guys, welcome back. So in today's video, we're going to be installing some Racingline suspension upgrades to our MK8 Golf R. But before we jump into it, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, also notification bell, then you won't miss any of our new videos go live. So if you've been following our channel for a while, you know we've been installing a bunch of Racingline products to our MK8 Golf R. Episode 1, we've installed the engine bay like dress up kit, as well as like the bonnet gas strut, the wheel studs, things like that. And then episode 2, we tested out the Racingline R600 intakes, saw if it did or didn't make power. So obviously if you want to watch those videos, go back into our channel and have a look at those. But for today, we're going to be installing suspension upgrades. So obviously we've got some aftermarket coilovers on there already, but we really want to see what the Racingline springs handle like with the standard dampers, and also what it looks like as well. So I'm going to be fitting those, fitting the standard dampers back onto the car, fitting the Racingline springs, and they've also set down some other bits that we're going to get fitted, like the subframe alignment kit, the subframe brace, and the rear body brace as well, which we're going to get fitted to this car at the same time. So first things first, let's get the car in the workshop and we'll talk you through all the parts. So we've got the Golf R in the workshop and we're just going to start installing some of the Racingline upgrades onto the Golf R. Now I know a few of you are probably going to be asking why are we removing the Bilstein Evo S. The reason being is that obviously a lot of our customers on the Mark 7 platform have installed the Racingline springs and really enjoy them. So obviously it's an obvious thing for us to get them on the Mark 8, see what they're like, and have sort of like a car that customers can experience and see what it looks like. So let's talk through the parts. So Racingline sent down the whole entire suite for the Mark 8 Golf R. So we've got like subframe collar kit, we've got body braces for the underneath of the car, we've got the rear body brace, obviously the springs themselves, and then the prop shaft alignment kit as well, which we're going to be installing. So first of all, if we just talk about the springs, so we've got like the factory damper that's here. So that's a factory front damper, the factory front spring, and then the Racingline spring alongside it. And essentially the Racingline spring is a little bit shorter, with a little bit more of like an optimized spring rate towards like sportier driving. So you get much more improved like handling from the car without having to go for like a full fat sort of like coilover kit. So this is a nice upgrade if you're looking, if for example you like the ride height of what the Mark 7, Mark 8s look like, then obviously go for these, and that's what you're sort of going to get. So that's that. And then moving on to, if we start at the front of the car, I'm actually going to show you how these parts fit onto the car. So we've got these subframe collar kits that Racingline have come out with, and essentially if we go over to the factory subframe, it's been a problem for sort of like many years on these cars, and this subframe, the bolts are eccentrically located, and what that means is that the hole is a little bit elongated, and what can happen over time is the subframe can basically shift out of position, and obviously that can change like your wheel alignment settings. So you put certain wheel alignment settings in, you might hit a pothole, or the subframe will just shift for some reason, and all of a sudden the car feels completely different. And basically these collar kits go in the subframe mounting holes and ensure that the subframe is concentrically located. So that solves one of the big problems with the sort of like from the Mark 5, Mark 6, Mark 7, and then obviously the Mark 8 is quite similar. It's going to have the same problems on these cars. So that'll be a nice upgrade. And then as well as that, we've got a couple of underbody braces here, which we're just going to talk you through. So this is a very nice design from Racingline. So first up, we've got the front subframe rear brace. So the front subframe does have somewhat of a rear brace on it, with these little sort of like pressed steel parts here. But Racingline have upgraded that. So all they've done is they've made like a billet part, which also has an additional brace on it. So this is actually a brace for a brace essentially. So that's gonna stop the subframe from moving about quite so much, like flexing under load, things like that. So it's gonna make the front end of the car feel a lot better. And also we've got these underbody braces as well. So these again replace sort of like these steel parts along the underside of the vehicle. So that will improve the rigidity of the car, obviously steering feel, all that kind of stuff. And these are sort of like easy sort of like bolt-on upgrades that you can do at home if you have obviously like the Jaxi equipment, things like that, or it's a upgrade that doesn't really take too much time, so it shouldn't cost too much to get them fitted. And obviously the rear body brace we've fitted in many customers' cars. Looks really cool, makes the rear end of the car feel a little bit stiffer as well. So we'll show you some B-roll of that we fitted to customers' cars. So yeah, we're going to get all this fitted on the car and then drive it a little bit later on and let you know what we think. joined me in the MK8 Golf R, and where we're testing out some of the Racingline suspension components. So just have a little recap on what we fitted to this car. So obviously we fitted the Racingline Sport Springs, we've got the subframe alignment kit, we've got the front subframe rear brace, then we've also got the underbody braces, and also we've got the rear brace which sits inside the boot. And immediately, as soon as you jump in the car, you can feel the car is a lot more positive. And to be completely honest, I wasn't really expecting a massive difference from installing all of these parts in the car, because to me they seem sort of like soft sort of upgrades you can do to the car. They're quite easy, sort of like bolt-ons. They're not going to take a lot of time, and they're improving upon some of the original parts that are on the car. But I must say, it's made a massive difference to this car. And if you don't want to go sort of like full track day suspension, full sort of like aftermarket alignment kits, things like that, this, to be honest, feels really, really nice. Obviously, with the front subframe being braced, you've got the rear hatch being braced, and the other, like the positive location of the subframe, it's all sort of adding up to make quite a big difference. So I think for someone who's driving these cars on the road and is only ever really going to drive it sort of like fast road use, B roads, things like that, this is probably one of the better solutions for you, because the ride quality is still there. We're driving in the New Forest today. The roads are absolutely terrible. You've got like ponies, horses, cows, stuff like that jumping out at you every opportunity, and the car feels absolutely fine. It feels nice and composed. Obviously we've got our own sort of like wheel alignment kit on this, or wheel alignment settings on this car, which obviously helps with all of that. And obviously if you were to have the bits installed by us, you would obviously get that as part of the alignment service as well. But I'm really, really happy with how this car drives, especially considering we're on the factory dampers. We've literally only just done springs, a couple of braces, and the car drives superbly. And I think a lot of customers that don't want to go for the full fat coilovers, track day parts, spherical bearings, things like that, this is going to be a nice sort of like upgrade that you can get installed in the car and enjoy it pretty much straight away. And having said that, we've also installed some of these upgrades on the customer's Tiguan, the front subframe brace and the underbody braces, and he said that it's completely transformed the front end of the car, and he thinks it feels more like a go-kart than it does sort of like an SUV now, which is quite good feedback, quite a nice compliment for essentially installing just a couple of parts. So yeah, we would definitely recommend all the Racingline bits we fitted to this car. I'm definitely enjoying them. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video, and see you on the next one. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, then please give us a thumbs up. If you'd like to watch other videos of ours that YouTube thinks you'll like, then click up here. If you'd like to watch some other videos that we have in the same playlist, then click here. And obviously if you enjoyed the video, then we really appreciate if you gave us a subscription, and then obviously you'll be updated when other videos of ours go live, and you can do that quite easily by clicking here. Hope to see you soon.